Hi, welcome to Click Geek, part 34 of this video series. In this session, we'll see how to create ad hoc reports in Qlikview. So in Qlikview, ad hoc reporting is nothing but enabling and disabling the dimensions and the respective measures in any of the Qlikview chart. But the recommended ones are straight table and pivot table. So to do that, we need to have at least one table in Qlikview data model. So here I'm loading a table which has these fields, and the last three fields are the measures: profit, sales, and the shipping cost. These three fields are the measures and remaining ones are dimensions. So this is just an orders table, so which we are using to build. So once we have these dimensions and measures in our data model, just reload so that we'll get the data into our model and then create a chart. So let's take strike table, then I'll be adding the dimensions. So first I'll add region and then city, uh, product category, product name, and then shipping mode. So we can also add state, but I want to promote state uh, to next to the region. So now we have these, and we'll be ignoring the country as we have only one country, uh, one country's data in the data model. So we have three measures: profit, sales, and shipping cost. So I'll be writing three expressions: sum of sales. This will be our sales, so I'll name it as hash sales, and then shipping cost. I'll give it a label hash shipping cost and profit. So sum of profit hash profit, right? So we have a strike table which will gives us the sales, shipping cost, and profit information by the shipping method, product name, product category, city, and state. Assume if you wish to have the sales or shipping cost or profit by state, you don't need the bifurcation of city, product category, product name. In that case, it's going to be just enabling and disabling the dimensions and measures. So in this scenario, if we go to the chart properties, in the dimensions, we have an option called enabling conditional. This is also called as conditional enabling. So based on your requirement, you can enable and disable these dimensions in the chart. Suppose let's click on region, and then I'll be enabling the this condition enabling, and then I'll put 0. Let's apply it. Now you can see that region got disabled. If you put 1 in here, it will be up, it will be visible. So this is how you can enable and disable dimensions and measures, which is also called as ad hoc report generation in Qlikview. So let's improvise this so that we can get a good appealing and automatic field enabling and disabling feature. How can we do that? So first we need to have the dimensions and measure names in a tabular format. So I'll be creating an inline table in the backend. So load star inline, and then I'll put dimensions. The field name is dim, and the values would be shipping mode, product category. So the field names would be the field values in this table. So I'll be listing down the dimensions. So in the other table, I'll list the measures: country, region, state, city. No need of comma, just going to be an inline table. So these are the values under the field dimension. So let's close inline table. I'll give a name for this table as dimensions, and then we will be creating a measure table as well. So that would be an inline table. So I'll give the column name as measure. So we'll use these three field names as field values in this table. In this inline table. So let's close inline table, save it, reload. Let's see the tabular view. So there you can find the two data islands which is not in sync with which these two has list of dimensions and list of measures that are available in the orders table. You can also uh, list measures and dimensions with the code itself, but yeah, that's going to be another topic. We'll see how to do that. Okay, so now create two list boxes, one for dimension, one for measure. This is the dimension, and let's create another. Create a list box for measure. So we would able to capture which value is being selected in either field. Suppose if you want to see which values get selected in dimension field, you can use the function get field selections of the field name dimension. Then okay. So if I have selected any of the value in this dimension, it will be listed here. If we select more than one value, then automatically it will add a comma in between those two values. So like that you can select every value. So if you selected all values, it will show you all. Okay, so and now we would able to capture the selections that we have made in this in this dimension list box. Now let's go to this. So if you want this region to be enabled, and I'll write an expression here, field selections will bring the selections that were made in the dimension field. So whereas there is a limitation with the get field selection, if you have selected more than the values that are all the values, so it will be giving you all in resultant. So you can, so let's select all the values so that you'll get all. So you can change this behavior. How you can change is, so in the get field selection function itself, you can able to pass total 4 parameters. There are 3 other parameters, so we'll use 2 of them. So I'll keep comma as the separator. If I select more than one value, so I should we must be having comma, that will be separating these. And then the third parameter would be maximum number of values that should be shown. uh, that would be that to be written uh, by this function. So that would be, if you put the count of all the values, count of the values in the particular dimension, it will work fine. So the count would be count of the dimensions. Now you can see what happened. Nested aggregation is not allowed. Okay, so in this case, we know how many of the values are there. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's put 7. So then you can see, it is returning all the values of the dimension which are being selected, and the values are separated by comma. Okay, so let's take this one. I'm copying this, then go to the strike table and copy it here. And now this text has, this function is returning list of dimensions selected from this field. So now what we'll do is we will compare the text which is written by this function with this field name, just a name. So what we'll do is we'll write an if substring function. So that is substring count. So what the substring function will do is it will take 2 parameters as input. The first parameter would be the string, and the second parameter would be the comparative string. So the second string is compared with this first string, and if it finds the second string in the first string, then it will return the number. So here I'll compare region with the string. So now see what will happen. So I'll copy this, apply, okay, and then take a copy of it. It's reading 1 means, so region is available one time in the substring. So you can see only one is available, right? So let's clear and then observe what chart will do is I just cleared it. So it is not returning any value, and the chart is not behaving as we have expected, right? Now you can see. So what we are doing is, if we are applying the condition, if this function is returning any of the value, so if reason is matching in this in the text written by this function, then it will put 1, else 0, right? So if we select region in here, then it will enable region, else it will just ignore it. So let's apply the same condition to each, to every dimension. Copy it and then go to the state, enable the condition, and copy that and change the text state. So I'm repeating again how this works is, so whenever you're selecting field values in this field, so it will compare the text which you are putting in this in the enabling condition with this text. If it found, this function will return a number so that the dimension will be enabled. Let's do the same for city as well. The same for product category. And then product name. And then shipping mode. And you can write the same kind of expression in expressions tab as well. So there also you have the conditional enabling. So just click on condition and you can put it here. So type sales, so that whenever we have selected sales from the measure is here. So put the field, change the field to measure, because if we are selecting some measure from the measures field, then it should be enabling that measure. Enable condition, and so we are writing this for shipping cost, and then for profit applied. Okay, so there is no value selected, so that's why it's not displaying anything. Let's select city, and then you need at least a measure. So click profit, you'll get it. If you type sales, you can select multiple measures as well, right? As and when you're selecting the dimensions and measures, this chart will get populated. I'm changing the list box presentation settings so that users would be able to easily select this. This is how it works. And if you wish to change it to the other chart, you can do that as well. You may uh, convert into pivot table as well, right? Suppose if it is giving a blank kind of message, it may confuse the user. So to get when to give a clear message to users stating that can I select at least one dimension, one measure, you can put a calculated condition here. So that is get selected count of dimension, then it will return a number, means true. Anything other than, other than 0 is true. So and get, because we need at least one dimension and one measure, so both functions should return some number which is other than 0. Get field selections, sorry, get selected count of measure, right? So if I select a value, it will return some number. Here if I select some measure, it will return a number. then it will be okay. So now you can see here calculated condition unfulfilled. So you can customize this message. Let's go to chart properties. There you can find error messages. Click on that and you can find the same message, calculation condition unfulfilled. There you can write a custom message like please select at least one dim and one measure. Listen, okay, apply. Now you can see the message. So users would get clarity on this selections if you display this kind of message. If I select one dimension, the condition is not fulfilled. So if you select measure, then it will be fulfilled, so that you can see. So as soon as you try to select the multiple dimensions and multiple measures, the chart will get populated. As this is the uh, pivot table, it is collapsed all, you can may expand it all. So or else you can enable fast type change, pivot table and the strike table. So if I make it strike table, you get it. As soon as you select it, then it. So trick is with enabling and disabling the dimensions and measures. So for that you have to list your measures and dimensions separately in two different tables or two data islands, and you need to compare your selections with the name of the dimensions and enable the dimensions and measures conditionally. So this is the trick. So that's all for this session. Thanks for watching the video. Please subscribe.